All right, we are back meeting the candidates, and as we promised, try to give everybody their 21 minutes to come up here and tell us about the campaign and what's going on. And our next guest, no stranger, also Dirk Guidry, been on the Terrebonne Parish Council and served at the top on that council for many years, and he's a candidate for state rep, District 53. And Councilman Guidry, good to see you.
Good to see you, Martin. It's beautiful weather outside.
Yeah.
Rougarou did great, so the parish is looking forward. And I mean, with the little deal we had last night at the right here downtown, it was beautiful.
Nice to politic a little bit in this kind of weather.
It is. I mean, yeah, a lot better than 105 degrees walking the streets.
Yeah, no doubt. And same thing I asked Jessica. Y'all have dealt with a $248 million budget for a long time, give or take a couple of pennies here and there. In a 4-year span, that's $1 billion. So I know budgets don't scare you. Y'all both been on the council. What kind of advantage would that give you if elected to bring the Baton Rouge when you're starting to count the pennies and move the money around and try to get your voice heard? What kind of advantage would that give you?
Well, Martin, there's going to be we're going through the 12th budget, well, the 11th budget that I've been on the council, and we get to look at different places where we could put the monies in priority, make sure everybody's taken care of, they can be taken care of, make sure our roads, our bridges, and everything's taken care of. But I've been looking at the budget for all these years. I'm quite familiar with how to do the budget, so I know it's a lot different in Baton Rouge, a lot more dollar bills. So we're going to go in there, we're going to work, and I know this coming time is nothing fiscal, so that'll come up on the next year. So
You're right, just a few more zeros. Huh?
Right, yeah, just a lot more zeros.
All right, so y'all have all been through the roads. People want roads fixed. And for the longest time, y'all could say on the council, or Mr. Dove could say, that's a state road. When you get to be state rep, that's a state road.
It's a state road.
Yeah, so you have to deal with it on a state level. What could you see yourself doing that would better the roads and bridges in this area, and what kind of voice would you bring?
Well, Martin, since Sean Wilson stepped down from DOTD, we've seen a little bit of improvement going on around the parish. There's been a lot more grass cutting. I've never had one person complaining about the grass this year, but they are complaining about the highways. We just have to work with the new DOTD secretary and stress our problems that we have in Terrebonne Parish. But it's not just a Terrebonne Parish problem. It's a state problem. I think we like $14 billion in road and bridge projects in the state. So we're just going to have somebody go into Baton Rouge to fight to make sure that our district gets our fair share of monies.
Yeah, because when you hit the state line in Louisiana, you're here.
Oh, for sure, Martin. Yeah, I mean, it's been like this for years, and it's just getting worse. I keep getting complaints about the holes by Clendenning Road. Mm-hmm. And Martin, I tell you, I've talked to DOTD. I'm on the MPO committee. And I've showed them videos where a car was stopped at a red light, and a truck with a trailer passes into that hole right there, and the wheel comes off the trailer and hits the car in the rear. So it's stuff like this. I mean, and by the Dularge Bridge, there's problems there. But I think last week they were grinding down some of the humps on Highway 57. So we get a little bit of improvement here and there, but with a new DOTD and new legislature, we hope to solve these problems.
Yeah. A little bit about your past. I've had you on the program a few times, and always thank you for being a veteran.
Thank you, sir.
That's important that we always remember that. But a little bit about yourself, and what kind of committees or what kind of organizations did you belong to that sort of prepped you for being a state rep?
More now, I belong to the American Legion, Knights of Columbus, Chauvin Lions Club. I've been into the community for quite a few years since I'm in my late 20s, early 30s, and I've seen the problems that we have. And I think a lot of these problems we're getting solved, but there's still a lot of ways to go. Hopefully after all these, we get money from FEMA, that we could do a lot of these problems in the parish. But I am community-minded, Martin, and you know my ordeal that I went through with Hurricane Ida. 35 days I worked at the Ward 7 without ever taking a break. I was awarded an American flag from the Texas Fallen for my work I did. I was awarded at a full military ceremony, another medal that I received from the Missouri National Guard. The Small Business Association, I was working with them and seeing the hard work I did. They put me up for an award in Washington, the Phoenix Award. So I didn't get that award. It went to the mayor of Lake Charles. I'm glad it went to him because he got that for 2 hurricanes. I just got nominated for 1. So I've worked very hard for my community, Martin, and I'm proud of everything I've done. I've brought in over $100 million worth of projects to Chauvin area and East Homicide. So I love what I'm doing, and that's why I'm running for the office, so I could keep bringing monies down to our people and fight for our peoples.
You know, you make a good point. Y'all take a lot of the monies that our state legislation brings in, and Parish President Gordon Dove's done it, I got to be fair, done a tremendous job of bringing lobbying monies in here along with the legislation, along with the council. Got to give you all a lot of credit, too. But now you're going to be on that state level lobbying every other parish to get a chunk of that money. You ready for that? That's
I'm
a
ready for
different
it.
game, huh?
I'm ready for it because we need to bring some more monies in. And the delegation that we've had for the last few years have done a great job bringing monies in here. We just need to make friends with all these other legislatures, and you got to give and take a little bit more. It's not all just coming to Terrebonne. I mean, there's 64 parishes, and we need to make sure everybody gets theirs, but we need to make sure we get the most.
But we want it all in Terrebonne, Lafourche, and St. Mary,
For
right?
sure.
An assumption.
For sure.
We want to be greedy, yeah.
No, not greedy, but 3/4 of it would be nice, Martin.
All right, let's do this. We'll take a short break. We'll come right back. Dirk Guidry is a candidate for state rep, District 53. Don't go away. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems, modern technology, and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. All right, we are back, and of course, we are allowing our channel to interview everybody we can get in here. Right now, we're on State Representative 53. We're talking with Councilman Dirk Guidry, and I want to get to the opioid crisis. It's a question I'm asking everybody because the opioid, although we have fantastic people and organizations trying to help out, it all starts at a state and a federal level. Really, federal brings it to state. What could you do to sort of amplify the awareness in this area that we're having problems with?
Well, Martin, opioid addiction is a very, very big problem in Terrebonne Parish, and it stimulates crime. We need to do something about the opioids so we can reduce the crime rate in Terrebonne Parish. But we need to work with the federal government, stop people crossing these borders with all these drugs. That's one of our biggest problems. If you see how many people die, over 100,000 people die a year from opioid overdoses. That's more than died in the whole Vietnam War. So it's sad. Why are all these guys that were picketing these poor soldiers coming back from Vietnam? Why aren't they picketing right now to stop 100,000 young adults from dying every year? We've been on the parish council. We passed a deal where we sued the opioid companies for the poison that they're putting out on the streets. And one thing I did, Martin, when I knew it was going to pass the council, and it was a no-brainer to pass the council, but I made sure that the monies that we receive in Terrebonne Parish go straight to drug abuse and mental illness. So that's the two things. And I think we just got a check for $600,000 from one of our lawsuits. So that's a great thing, but we really, really need to stop the drug. And one thing we need to do, and it might not be, it pertains to this, but we need new jail. We need a new jail, Martin. I was talking to the sheriff with about at least 2,000 beds, because what's happening is they put people in jail. There's not enough place to put them. So come Thursday or Friday, they got to let some of these guys out of jail so they can put a new crop in.
And I think this money's on the way coming for that, right?
Yes. And I'm going to make sure that when getting to Baton Rouge that we can get that done. But another thing that we need to do is we need to have a crime lab, a real crime lab where we can do DNA and all that, because I was talking to the sheriff last week. Sometimes, even if with a murder thing, sometimes it takes up to 5 to 6 months to get DNA. So that's sad. I mean, how many more murders can they commit? How many more crimes can they commit in this, And it could be a crime lab for Terrebonne, LaFouche, St. Mary, Assumption, St. Charles, because there's only one crime lab in the whole state of Louisiana. It's in Baton Rouge. So we need to see about doing that. And I think by doing this, it'll slow down the opioids. But it's sad when you're seeing all these young guys and girls that I knew for years, that the shape they look in now, Martin. They're great people, but they got hooked on their drugs, and it's just sad for the families to have to go through it. And
they're one miscalculation away from being dead.
Exactly.
No other way to put it, really.
And most of the time all the time when the guys get hit up with these drugs to bring them back, they don't understand they're dead.
Yeah.
They are dead, and they just don't understand that, I don't believe, because some of them jump up and swear that they never did drugs. It's just a bad epidemic that we're going through it.
Let's move on to the seafood industry. Been talking with everybody, and the lieutenant governor said on this program, he said, Martin, there's not been one fine issued for people not marking their seafood correctly. He said stores are supposed to label it. They don't label it. Places, restaurants are supposed to label it. You're running in seafood country out there. What are you hearing from the fishermen, and what would be your stance on it?
Martin, we had at lunchtime in my restaurant today, that was the conversation. It was about the seafood industry. Most of these big boats, they tied up. They cannot go make a living right now. A 21, 25-pound shrimp that they're getting paid from the dock is 60 cents a pound. You could buy 2 pounds of shrimp or 1 can of Vienna sausage for the same price. It's sad. These guys work hard. That's what they want to do for a living. But we need to go to Baton Rouge and fight for them. I know it's not all Baton Rouge's problems. It's Washington's problem also. But we need to get with all the legislatures from all the Gulf Coast states, East Coast, and some of the West Coast, and stick together and form a coalition and see about bringing down these imports. We need to test them more, the shrimp. There's steroids in our shrimp, something that you're supposed to have zero. But what they're doing is if a ship comes into New Orleans and is tested with antibiotic steroids, it's put back on the ship and it goes to somewhere else. But when it comes to the United States, if it's tested with antibiotic steroids, it should be destroyed. So,
how about making the fines stiffer?
For sure, especially in these restaurants and all, and in some of these factories too, Martin, they'll take foreign shrimp, pond-raised shrimp, and they'll mix it in boxes with American shrimp and call it American shrimp and send it out, I know a couple of them that's doing it as we speak.
And that's just wrong at all levels.
It's wrong at all. You're cheating the people. Yeah. And, it's just go out and eat American shrimp. But the deal is, Martin, like I was talking to some of these guys, they hunt out in Kentucky and they hunt out in Illinois and all, and you can't find a wild-caught shrimp. It's all pond-raised or imports. So something needs to be done about it. And I know we can't just fill the needs for all of the whole United States, but maybe we could get our government to buy our shrimp for the military, for all these restaurants, for the Pentagon. That would help us out a whole lot if they could do this.
All right, let's take a short break. We'll be right back with Councilman Dirk Guidry. Once again, he is running for that representative race, District 53. We'll be right back with our third and final segment. Don't go away. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems, modern technology, and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better
when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
All right, welcome back. Once again, we are with Councilman Dirk Guidry, and he is a candidate for State Representative District 53. And let's jump to legacy lawsuits. That's been a big item. We've heard so much about in the last few years, the parish involved in legal, been in the courtroom quite a bit with legacy lawsuits. If you're elected state rep, what would your stand be on legacy lawsuits in the state and for this area?
I'm not suing, Martin. I'm not going to vote to sue all companies. This is our bread and butter in Terrebonne Parish and Lafourche Parish. So if we try to scare these companies off, they're going to go to Texas, they'll go somewhere else. But, you know, it's just not the oil companies that created this problem. This problem started in the 1920s when they dammed off the Mississippi River, while we didn't keep getting sediment coming down here. It started by fishermen or duck hunters, by building train houses in the marshes and let the waters come. Boudreaux Canal was a train house, if you don't understand and what it is. 200 foot wide right now. So it's a lot of different things that caused the oil companies and all that to get suits filed against them. But I'm totally against legacy lawsuits. We think we can't run all companies out of Terrebonne Parish. It's you know, there's quite a few factors, you know, that are losing our islands, you know, where the fresh water comes in. And I know, you know, how can you go back when we gave them a permit to do something in the 1950s and come back and sue them 75 years later? You know, it's just not right, Martin. And I think if you leave some of our oil companies alone, they'll come back and give us some money, you know. So, I mean, Freeport-McMoran was willing to give us $100 million. So let's give some of these oil companies a chance. We got Shell Oil that just gave us 4,000-something acres. So they're kind of repaying it back, but our coast is dwindling. We need to put rocks on our barrier islands. There's a lot of things we need to do, but it seems like people are finally starting to wake up to it. Morganza's doing a great job, but legacy lawsuits, Martin, I'll never, no.
Let's switch subjects a little bit. When you're on the state level, you'll be dealing with a lot of, you know, pushing for budgets for Nicholls State University, for Fletcher, here in the area. What kind of voice would you be for those institutions?
A big voice, Martin. We need education. That's one of our main problems. We need to educate our young kids. I know we just we're buying the bank building down here downtown. They're going to have Fletcher's going to have a little business school in there. Fletcher's also doing a little bit of work with the Houma Terrebonne Airport, where we're bringing in these drones aircraft. That's something that hardly has been talked about on this campaign trail by anyone. It's supposed to bring in, it's a drone project, and there's only 7 places in the whole United States that can have unmanned aircraft flying into one, and Terrebonne is one, because one of the rules is it can't take over and land over residents. So we have between Grand Kai and Milk Kai, we have a big area of marsh. It's supposed to employ up to 1,040 people. Nicholls is starting to train people on these aircraft. So one of the biggest wingspan aircraft that's coming in, a drone, unmanned, is 131 foot, you know. So
wow,
it's huge. There's going to be a huge improvement to the east side of Houma.
And we have the largest helicopter base, I think, in the nation.
In the nation. There's more flights going out in and out of there than anywhere in the world at the Houma Terrebonne Airport. And I've seen they move BP's parking lot, so I think there's another tenant getting ready to come into the airport. It's not been known yet, but I'm pretty sure that's the reason behind doing this. But Fletcher and Nicholls, I mean, it's so close. My little girl graduated from the Fletcher with an associate's degree, and then she went to Nicholls and got her regular degree.
And our airport commission does a great job.
They do a great job, Martin. They do an outstanding job.
Let's talk about medical. We went through Ida. we saw with COVID, death of the nursing staffs. And you have very good CEOs at these institutions that when you look at Terrebonne General, when you look at Thibodeau, when you look at Ochsner, when you look at just all the area, which you'll be representing a large portion of those areas, but you really can't differentiate. When you give medically, you got to sort of give it to everybody. How important is it that, and it's like I was telling one of the Senate candidates, when you lose a medical institution in your own city, you will lose the city. So what would you do as a voice for the medical institutions?
First of all, I make sure the Terrebonne General and Chabert are fortified as good as they can to prevent damages from becoming at the hospitals. We just need to, and Phyllis people and all did a great job. I mean, they had a destroyed hospital. They kept it open. Chabert had a messed up hospital. We kept it open. And, you know, we had to keep these hospitals open. Some of them are training institutions. So, and if we would have closed down the hospitals totally, we'd have lost that accreditation. And it would have took years for us to get accredited to bring back and be teaching hospitals. But yes, we need to, one of the big things is we need to fortify these hospitals, Martin, make sure, and we know it's just a matter of time when we have another hurricane. I just hope it's not in my lifetime, but it's coming down the road. But we need to fortify these hospitals because it would hurt the community when you're seeing all these ambulances come and pick up all these patients and leaving town, you know. And then the families are separated from the patients. They don't know where they went to. I mean, it was during COVID. It was just a big mess, Martin, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. We sat on his desk.
And
seemed
coming
like
back
forever.
with COVID, I would never, ever vote to shut everybody down again like they did. I think it was the wrong move that they did. My restaurant, we never enforced COVID rules. I had masks. We had hand sanitizers. If you decided you wanted to use it, use it. This is America, Martin. Mm-hmm. And we need to give the people the choice. And that's what I think our government right now is doing. They're taking our freedoms away from us. But I would never, ever agree to shut down businesses like that. And it hurt our education system.
All right. Dirk, we appreciate you coming by, and thank you for getting in the race. I thank everyone for getting in the race. It's a big feat. And once again, Dirk Guidry, he's a candidate for State Representative, District 53. We'll be back.